Welcome to the Business Mechanic Show. This is your host, Vaughn Sigmund, co-founder of Results-Driven Leadership. Let me ask you a question. You want to be a leader, right? Then stop playing it safe. Stop waiting until it's easy or you think it's going to get easy. You're going to have to start doing the hard stuff. That's right, the hard stuff, the stuff you've been procrastinating on, the stuff you've been avoiding. The stuff that most people avoid like the plague. Today's video is one that I personally needed to do for myself. This isn't about motivation. This is about transformation. Because if you want to lead, you gotta embrace the suck. But first, let's get started by why. Why you're stuck. Why are you here? Why you listen to this podcast? You're looking for answers. You're looking for a way to improve what you do, your impact on people, your team, your career. Here's the truth nobody really tells you. We're wired to stay comfortable. Your brain wants certainty. It wants routine. We love our routines. I love my routine. It wants safety. Yeah, that's what humans want, is safety. It goes back to the caveman days. But comfort, that safety, that's going to be your enemy of moving from manager to leader. You don't grow in comfort. It doesn't just appear. Your new skills and talent doesn't just present itself. You have to work towards it. And you're going to have to do things and say things and act through things that are foreign to you. And it's that foreign matter that keeps you from making the changes you need to make. You can't lead from the comfort zone. You can get comfortable with leadership, but in order to get there, you're going to have to go through the suck. Because if you maintain, if you coast, you flatline. And it may be why you're listening to this podcast. Frankly, that's why so many average managers stay average. Many, if not most, know what they should do, but they stay the same. See it all the time. They fight against it. They explain it. They avoid the hard conversations. They delay the accountability. They want to blame it on other things. They want to justify it. They want to defend their current state. And that really is about avoiding the accountability, that ownership. And truly what they're holding back and what's keeping them where they're at, and this may be you, and it certainly was me at a point in my life, that you hold back because it's uncomfortable. We do not do many things that we know we need to do or aspire to do because of the pain, the journey that it's going to take us to get there. Now, there's some things in life that I'm simply not going to do, but I don't desire to do them. Like jumping out of an airplane with a parachute, I'm never going to do that. It does not appeal to me. It appeals to a lot of people. It appeals to my wife. She'd love to do that. I ain't going to do it. But there's other things, like recording my first podcast. Doing it for 7, 8 years now. That was very uncomfortable in the beginning. There's lots of things. Starting my own business. All these things. Going out and finding new clients. Exposing myself. Public speaking. Doing webinars. That was all very uncomfortable. But I would have remained grossly underpaid had I not done it. I never would have had a business. And it's that discomfort, that avoidance that keeps us where we're at. And guess what? Many people don't evolve for that very reason. They know they need to do it, but they're not willing to put the work in. And then I got to tell you, I'm going to be very honest with you. There's been many times in my career I felt the same way. But thank goodness I had the fortitude in me in most cases that I would put my nose to the grindstone. I'd grunt and I work my way through it, and I embrace the suck. What does it take to become a leader? If I'm moving from manager to leader, what does it take? If you want to become the kind of leader your team actually respects, actually needs, you have got to make the change. And making that change means avoiding old habits and embracing new ones. New mindset, new moves, new geography that you've never been into. And let me warn you, right now, it's going to suck. It's sticking with it, it's keeping with it, the determination, the discipline to stay after it, to brush yourself off and keep going. Try it again, try it again. It's awkward. And you'll mess up. Guarantee you will. There's no way you're going to be perfect right out of the box. But if I know that going in, maybe that gives me a little upfront understanding of what the suck is. You're going to question yourself and you're going to talk yourself out of it, because that talking yourself out of it is your comfort speaking. But if you want greatness, if you want results, if you want to be the leader your team needs you to be, you've got to be willing to feel uncomfortable on purpose. Because what used to maybe feel impossible, that you really suck at in the beginning, will eventually become a strength. As long as you do the reps, as long as you keep trying. Here's how to embrace the suck. Let me give it to you straight. Number one, you have to have the hard conversations. You don't email, you don't delay, you don't text. You're going to have to bring somebody in front of you, look them in the eye and tell them the truth with clarity and respect. Stop hiding behind the emails. Stop avoiding performance issues. It's not going to fix itself. Stop sugarcoating feedback. When you avoid these hard conversations about a certain behavior or performance level, you unwittingly are approving it. And you're not going to change the dynamics of somebody's performance, including yourself, by avoiding it. You must tell them the truth. And that's very uncomfortable the first few times you do it. It's going to be uncomfortable, hell yes. But discomfort is the entry fee to accountability. Your own accountability, your ownership. And if you're going to start this journey, you might want to understand how others perceive you, what the perception of you is. So you need to be asking for feedback. But be prepared. If you ask for it, you're going to get it. Now, some people are going to be butt kissers and they're going to tell you what they think you want to hear, but there's going to be somebody, if you ask enough, people maybe intentionally you seek because they're a little more outspoken. Don't flinch when you hear it. You want to grow, right? If you're going to grow, you're going to have to open yourself up to that kind of feedback, because the person is going to have to make the change is right there in the mirror with you. So ask for that feedback and take it like a pro. You're not perfect. That's why you're likely listening to this podcast. None of us are. The moment you start acting like you've got all the answers is the moment your growth stops. Knowledge is the enemy of learning. Think about that. And if I'm always seeking more knowledge, I'm always learning, I'm always getting better. And so it's a great thing to ask your team what you can do better. Ask your boss, because your boss may be avoiding it too. Present yourself. Make it easier for them to give you that feedback. Ask your boss where they see you coming up short. And please just don't get defensive when you hear it, when they tell you. This is all about sharpening your edge, not stroking your ego. Very often people reach out and say, hey, can you give me some feedback? They're fishing for a compliment. You're not looking for compliments. That's going to keep you safe. We're not here to stroke your ego. We're here to vibrate your ego. Let me give you a real example. I used to talk all over my direct reports in meetings. I knew it all. I knew exactly what I wanted. I had a very clear picture of what I wanted. And I would tell them if anybody else wanted to question that, I'd step all over them. Because I thought I really knew all the answers. I thought I was helping. And just being defiant to anybody telling me otherwise. And eventually I trained them to just not say anything. That's not a good environment. Turns out I was just killing their confidence. I was eroding my trust with them, their trust with me. Certainly wasn't being respected the way I wanted to. And one person finally called me out. I remember he sat me down. We were traveling somewhere and we were in the Atlanta airport. And he pulled me aside and he says, "Got to give you some feedback." And as much as my brain was screaming, "They're wrong," once I had the 4-hour flight from where we were coming to back here to California, my brain had time to process that and snap. Once I went back through and took out all my ego and I listened to what Ron had to say to me, it sunk in. I do that. I understand how I'm stifling my team, the damage that that's doing. One of the most fantastic compliments I've gotten, I got a couple weeks ago from a woman that says, "Oh my God, Vaughn, you were just the best listener I've ever known." But she couldn't give me $1,000 that made me happier because I work really hard on that. I'm very conscious about speaking less and listening more. And by listening more, I learn more. And when I learn more, I was able to then collaborate and guide the team that I was responsible for towards the mission that I wanted, that I thought I clearly saw, but they also saw things too that enhanced that goal or our journey to get there. They had experiences and knowledge, things to avoid, things that just weren't going to work, and other great ways to approach something that I just frankly had been stifling. I'd just been cutting out because of my determination. Very often it was because I just wanted to get the meeting over with and get busy with it. It's my interest of urgency. So when I get excited about something, I want to get going. So learn. That was mine. I'm not saying it's yours. You may be a great listener. I was not a good listener, but for the past 20 plus years, I've really been consciously working on that. And I get much better results. I speak less. And the folks I work with get better and better. I ask a lot of questions. And I listen. Because then I know where I need to go. But you're also going to keep in mind, you're going to have to step up when it's inconvenient. Real leaders don't have a clock. They don't clock out at the end of the day. They are always on the clock. And great leaders rise when others retreat, when others hide. You'll be there. So you have to be there in order to be there. You got to lead when it's inconvenient, maybe after hours. Leadership isn't convenient. It's supposed to be. You'll be tired. You'll have a full inbox. You'll have all your own fires you need to be putting out. But when your team needs you, you need to show up. It's uncomfortable. You need to put your needs aside for your team's needs. And mentally and emotionally is sometimes difficult, but that's the discomfort. That's the gig. Understand, leaders don't get to punch clocks. They punch through barriers. Then, as I've spoken very often lately, we have to own our results, including our mistakes. And even when it wasn't you, in fact, especially when it wasn't, that's extreme ownership. And it separates the mediocre from the greatness, from the pros. You have to own everything, even when it's not your fault. Your team screws up, that's on you. You miss a deadline, that's on you. Sales tank this month, you guessed it, still on you. Ownership isn't fair. It's not easy, but you'll learn in time it's liberating because it starts building trust and respect that you didn't know you could have. When you stop pointing fingers and start pointing thumbs, you, as a leader and your team, become unstoppable. It takes time, and it takes you embracing the suck. And let me also just share with you some of my personal journey around changing habits. They're hard to change. Let's be honest. Changing habits suck. No matter what you're doing, it's uncomfortable. And it's slow. That's the other thing, patience. It's slow. You've got to get the reps. And if you make a mistake, you brush yourself off, you get back out there. That's the uncomfortable part, is going back into the pain. And it takes time. It's slow. You won't get it right the first time. And that's fine. Give yourself that break. This is a game of reps. Just like at the gym. You're going to be so sore and uncomfortable after the first workout. Everything feels heavy. You feel awkward. Everybody's staring at you. You obviously don't know what you're doing. Your form's bad. You wobble. But with discipline and a true desire to change, you keep showing it. And boom, in time, you get stronger. Your ship's the same thing. You don't need to flip your world upside down. Start small. Pick one thing. But start now. And repeat it as many times as you need to every single day. Here's what most people won't tell you. Changing who you are as a leader doesn't happen overnight. You don't flip this magical switch and become an inspiring, courageous, and strategic, outstanding leader in just one shot. You have to build it. And that means breaking your old habits and getting out of your old comfort zone. It won't feel natural in the beginning. In time, it will. But it's that natural feeling that's holding you back. And replacing what's natural with what is unnatural and awkward to you, that's the suck. Keep doing it. Keep pressing that iron. And it'll eventually reshape how you think, how you view yourself, how you speak, and how you lead. And let me be real. It's awkward. You're going to mess up. You're going to feel like you're acting and you're an imposter. You'll doubt yourself. You'll want to give up, especially after you make your mistakes. But that's the price. That's the suck. That's the toll you pay on the road to greatness. That's what the reps bring you, is strength. You want to build a new identity as a leader? Track your reps, not your results. Many people believe it takes 30 days to form a new habit, and that's just not true. It may take 30 days, but it really takes 30 repetitions. 30 repetitions gives you enough practice to where things will get you on the other side of the competency curve. And the quicker and the more frequently you do it, the sooner you can get there. That may be 30 days, maybe 60 days, maybe a year. But focus on the process, not on the results. Think about speaking up when you'd rather stay quiet. When you're sitting there in that awkward moment in a meeting or sitting and talking with someone, speak up. Say it when you'd rather be quiet. When everything's telling you, keep your head down, poke your head up. Set a boundary when you'd rather keep the peace. Own your day instead of it owning you. Every rep, every repetition, every moment you practice, that rewires your identity. Now it's becoming a new comfortable habit, but it takes time. Every rep sharpens your edge. And don't put the pressure on yourself for it to be perfect. Just make it about progress. Little better, 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. And that will build the new you in time. But about 30 times, you're going to start getting comfortable with it. And you may get that done in a month. It may take longer. Don't give up. Keep after it. And I encourage you to start small, but stay relentless. Let's talk about some tactics, because here's where most people blow it, is they go out there and they give up carbs all in one day. I'm never going to eat a carb again. You're going to eat a damn carb. You're going to gain some weight back. You're going to make mistakes. And changing your leadership style is no different. Most people blow it because they try too much too quickly. They try to overhaul their leadership style overnight, and you're just not able to do that. Nothing's going to change in a day. You may see some progress in a moment, but it's likely small. But that's how transformation works. Just remember, start small. Pick something that you feel like is not huge. It's maybe one bullet point of multiple bullet points, and start it today. And then the next time you get the opportunity, do it again. And the next hour, the next day, just keep doing it. Start with one behavior you want to change. Maybe it's listening. Maybe it's delegating. Pick one. Set a daily trigger. Every time you go into a meeting, commit to not interrupting. Or every time you're sitting down and doing your work, think about, who else can I teach this to? Who else could be doing this that's not named me? That's your rep. And then track your effort, not your perfection. You won't nail it the first time. You're going to get under pressure, and your old habits are going to come out. Stress brings them out. But recognize that. There's another trigger. The mere fact that you're trying, that's a win, as long as you keep trying. You then make sure you're on a regular basis, preferably weekly, review on your efforts and reflect. At the end of the week, ask yourself, did I lean into discomfort, or did I back off? Did I have opportunities that I backed off I should have leaned in? Keep score of that. That's your scoreboard. Do it consistently, and I promise you, that new great leader that's in you is going to begin to emerge. And here's my final challenge to you. Let me ask you something. Are you willing to do what most want so that you can become the leader most will never be? Because at the end of the day, you have two options. Suffer the pain or change now, or the pain or regret later. I'd rather try and fail than look back and say I should have, could have. Suffer the pain and start making the changes. Let me leave you with this. You can either suffer that pain, or you can remain okay, average, with all the extra work that comes and falls on your shoulders because of your average. All the fires that you're creating because you're doing okay. But if you want to be great, if you want to make your job easier, embrace this pain. It's going to be what builds you. That comfort destroys you. It's not easy making the leap from manager to leader. But if you want to lead a team that performs, respects you, trusts you, and follows you without question, you're going to have to step into that fire. Not once, not occasionally, daily. Every hard thing you're avoiding, that's the gateway to the next level. What I'm avoiding is actually what is going to get me there. That's the suck. And that's where the gold is buried. So do the hard thing. Lean into the discomfort. Take the hit. I even caught myself. I take my own medicine. I've caught myself here in the past couple months becoming very complacent, procrastinating things I know I needed to do. And I went back and reread a book that gave me that spark. Saying, I've got to start doing the hard stuff. I know this. And at that moment, I started doing it. And I remind myself all day, every day, I've got to do the hard stuff. I've got to do the hard stuff because my procrastination habit has come back to the forefront. But I own the results and I got busy with it, making the proper change. Because when it's all said and done, nobody remembers the leader who avoided the pain. They remember the one who walked into it and came out sharper and was on this journey of self-improvement. They're stronger. You become unstoppable. So the next time it gets hard, next time you want to shrink, the next time you want to avoid it, remember this. That's your opportunity. That's your rep. That's your test. This is your leadership in the making. Do the hard thing, embrace the suck, and build the leader your team's been waiting on. And I got to tell you, I find something very curious. Hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world listening to this podcast. Yet only a very small percentage ever take the hard next step and seek the help and advice they need to make the changes. You're likely not to be able to do this alone. They seek. You're here seeking information and guidance in a better way from the Business Mechanic Show. Why is that? You want to get better, but you're going to have to just listen to the podcast isn't going to help. You're going to have to start moving to the next step. You're going to have to start sometime. Why not now? It doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, visit RDL Training's website, RomeoDeltaLimaTraining.com. Check out our online courses and obtain the knowledge, skills, and tools that will help you on your journey. It starts at $47 a month. Do you not want to do it because you're not ready? Okay. When are you going to be ready? When are you ever going to be ready? When did you ever experience, I'm ready? It's a small investment, $47. It's a small investment in yourself. And if you're not worth $47 a month, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel so little about yourself. Get the tools and the resources you need. If it's not for me, there's other people to go find it from. But don't avoid the suck. You've got this. Go out there and take the next rep. And if you want to go deeper, drop a comment, send a message, share this podcast. Please subscribe. Or come join us at Results Driven Leadership. Sign up for my newsletter. We're not here to play small. We're here to build giants. Let's get after it.